the phrase top American.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on, top American? What are we doing here? I want to hear top runner in the race, not top American. Stop saying, oh, all the losses to the non-Americans don't count. Also,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a pro in this race and you lose to Colin Solomon, you need to retire. That's my. I traded up to get my
Wait,
draft pick, Hound you.
wait.
But if Colin Solomon beats any pro in this race, they need to retire.
Draft grade.
But you
Colin
just
Solomon is
said
on a retirement. Colin Solomon's on a retirement tour, and he needs to. Every time he beats you, you got to retire.
You just said he could break the high school record, which means you'd have him going sub 353. So you think
Yeah.
if someone runs 354, they should retire?
Yes, 100%. You can't lose to a high school kid. You're losing to a kid in high school who's getting coached by a high school track coach. You're being paid thousands and thousands of dollars to run, and you're gonna get beat by him? No, retire.
You know who could lose to him, and it wouldn't
A lot of
matter.
people. Who?
Well, right, but no. I mean, if Centro debuts there, I could totally see Centro running like 356 and losing by a second to Solomon. And then you know what's going to happen probably in a couple weeks?
He'll make the
Centro's
team.
going to do his Centro thing. He's going to make the damn team. So that's a bad.
I mean, and it's not a bad take. I think losing to high school kids. Come on, shouldn't be losing to high school kids.
You know who's losing to high school kids?
Who?
Everybody in the men's 200 right now. He ran 1949.
He's not in high
He
school.
hasn't even Yeah, he is.
Is he in high school?
Literally hasn't.
He's not in high school. I thought he graduated high school.
No, he's graduating like right now.
Oh, I thought he was
He's in class.
Okay, you're ruining my argument. I mean, oh yeah, he's in algebra as we speak right now. But okay, hold on. Not counting sprinting. That's
not
counting
counting this
sprinting.
one specific. No, you got to see how fast Solomon goes. If Solomon runs 4:03 and beats 5 Americans, then I'd be with you. But you can't say this guy's going to run faster than every other high school in history when he should be at his peak because it's the end of his season. And then that's a bad result.
Okay, I'll change it to.
I was with you. I was with you on the U.S. versus American, or the U.S. versus the world thing, or the U.S. versus Australia, Great Britain. You know who I want to see in this race, though? I want to see Josh Kerr in this race. I'm bummed Josh Kerr's not in this race.
That's a good story.
This would have been
Where's Josh Kerr?
A perfect Josh Kerr. Well, we're out of picks now. We can't. Were you 1 or 2 on the chat?
I think I was a 1.
Okay, well then we have some misinformed listeners.
Oh, okay. Are you stop the count right now? It doesn't count. Okay, I see how.
There was some response bias there.
Okay. All right.
We got Travis is looking up all the people Colin Solomon's beat.
Yeah, Eric Holt, retire. Jonah Kowick, retire. Ryan Hill, retire. Robbie Andrews, retire. Ben Allen, retire.
Hold on, though. You're a freshman at Virginia has to retire?
No. If you're in college, you're allowed it because you're fine. You're fine. You're developing. But if you're
no, I think the move
is
you get beat.
You got to retire.
The move is you get beat by the high schooler, but then 2 years later you come back. That's due to longevity.
Okay, how about this?
Either he's the best high school runner of all time, or he's not. If he's the best high school runner of all time, then you have to put a bit of respect on it. And you're not getting beat by any old dude. What if they did this? Saying. What if we did this on the world scene and anybody Jakob beat when he was 18 had to didn't Jakob beat Centro and Paul Chelimo at Peyton that year when he was 18? Didn't that happen? Should Paul Chelimo have retired? Or because he went to a Norwegian high school, it didn't count? It's only American high schoolers that count.
Yes, it's only American high school that counts. Yes. I think everyone that lost to Hobbs Kessler at the Olympic trials last year should have retired. Let's bring that up. Bring that list up. Everyone who lost to Hobbs Kessler in the 1500 at the trials, because then you can't argue, I wasn't focused on this race. It's not a priority, because that's the argument for Centro. It's not a priority to win the pre-mile, which I get, but it is a priority to do as best as you can at the trials. So if you lost to Hobbs Kessler at the trials, you should retire.
We got in the chat. David says, "What about pole vault with Mondo? He beat the world champ at Texas Relays as a junior."
Again, I'm going with distance only. This is a distance only situation.
Why? That doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense.
This is pretty subjective.
No, it makes sense. I think
I like how you
I
forgot Arian Knighton was in high school when all the
thought he was
headlines started with
I
high
thought he was a
schooler
senior
Arian
last year.
Knighton.
I thought he was a senior last
No,
year.
no, man, that's what made it crazy.
Okay, let's look at
When
who
he
lost to Hobbs Kessler.
when he ran 20.3, he was going into his junior year.
So Dylan Maggard, Talon Franco, Ben Blankenship, Trip Hurt, and Graham Crawford. Y'all got to retire.
Well, no, see, this is the flaw of your argument. Like Dylan Maggard's running better than ever. Made a world
Yeah,
indoor
okay,
team.
hold on. You either got to retire or you got to leave the event. So Dylan Maggard, you're not a 1500 meter runner. Go to the 10K. It's fine. Be a 10K
Franco's
runner,
in college.
right?
I do
Well,
like
Franco, again,
that.
college doesn't count.
That reminds me of something Jenny Simpson said. I think it was a couple of years ago, where she moved from the steeple to the 15, but like she took great pride in not. I don't know what the term was, but basically she's saying she never was like forced out of the event. Like she didn't have to change events to make a team. She took pride in staying put. So you're saying you just got to change the event.
Yeah, you
That'd be
got,
fun.
yeah.
That'd be an interesting rule. You get
It's
relegated.
like getting, yeah, relegated. We need relegation in track and field. If you lose to someone who's like a decade younger than you got to retire. Come on, retire.
Yeah.
There's some people who came close to retiring with the loss. I mean, if Colin Solomon
Why can't
qualifies for the U.S. champs, it's he's on a retirement tour. He's trying to grab retirement. You hand
I
out the
think
retirement
age
papers.
is
As he cross the
I
finish
think
line, he's gonna turn around and be like, "Goodbye. This is my track
you
now."
but you go back and you look at people who lost to other phenoms early in their career, and they've had good careers. I think you're too fixated on age. You need to be more fixated on where they sit in the world overall. I think that's what you
Yeah,
need to look
I am
at.
fixated. I I'm 100% fixated
He's
on it, and
good.
I will.
It doesn't matter though. It's more like, hey, are you the 50th best guy or are you the 20th best guy? And if one of the people who beats you happens to be 18 or 38, it doesn't matter. Like your place in the world
Yeah,
is your
but you're
place in the
like
world.
pretending all high schoolers who are there's a difference between a high schooler who's winning the trials and a high schooler who's getting like 12th.
Yeah, but if you're saying he can break Webb's record and run 353, then you're
Correct.
putting him in the top tier of. I mean, he's not in the Ingebrigtsen Chariot tier. He's not in the Hawker tier, but he'd be in that next group of people.
Okay,
He'd be a legit Diamond League guy.
okay.
It's like you're saying if you lose to a Diamond League guy, you should retire. That's weird.
Okay, no, okay, hold on. I I'm taking your information and I am adjusting. I'm going back to
You're making the clips
any
hard on
event.
Colt.
This isn't distance only. This isn't distance only. This is going to be all events. If you lose to a high schooler and you personally are over the age of 25, you got to retire. So you're given
How,
you're allowed to
how,
lose to a high schooler if you're under the age of 25. But if you're over
how
the
does that
age of
make that?
25, you got to retire.
How does that make it better? I don't get it.
Because then you can argue like, all right, you're still in the development mode. Like it's okay because if you're 22, you lose an 18-year-old, like whatever, it's fine. You know, it's
Mhm.
like the whole like who can you date? It's your age plus 7 divided by
Here,
2 or whatever
let me
thing
ask you
is.
this.
It's like
Let me
that,
ask you
but
this.
how should you retire if you lose to someone with the age plus 7 divided by 2?
Right now, pre-classic, who's gonna finish ahead of the other? Salmon or Centro?
I have no idea. Which is Centro's doing that on purpose. He's purposely making it so we have no idea. And Centro could be either an A or a B. He could be legit or running 150s. So I have no idea. I don't know what his training is. I don't know. He doesn't post. I could see either one happening.
Okay, my point is he's above the age of 22. If he loses to Salmon at pre, then that just shows the flaw in your argument. Because again, if he loses to him by a tenth of a second, but looks good,
Okay, I'll add one more.
I'd still pick him
I'll
for the
add.
team, probably.
I'll add one more caveat. Third caveat. Third and final caveat. Okay. If you lose and you're over the age 25, and it happens twice. So you have to lose to him twice. If you lose to him twice, then you retire. So it's a two.
Okay,
It's a two
so
strike rule. Two strike rule,
we
which
got
is
to go
fair. Because
back
then
then. You retired a
it
bunch of
takes.
people. You got to go back, unretire. You have to reinstate all those people
Yeah,
because you
yeah, yeah.
retired a
But
bunch of
like
them this year.
you're on the edge. If you have one loss to Solomon, and then you get a second loss, you're out. Two strike rule. Because I'll give it. You can have one bad race. Bad races happen, right? So you're right. One bad race shouldn't matter, but two bad races, that's a trend. You're out.
Mhm. I think the chat turned on you. They were with you with your draft, but then your bonus draft comments, I don't think are going over well. Uh, Nick says you got some problems, Gordon. Okay.
I don't got problems. I have
Solutions.
understanding that we should expect more from our pro athletes. We shouldn't expect them to lose the